Hey dudes, what's up? It's Bradley Dillon from new3.com, and we're in Tampa, Florida tonight. We're on the Death Before Dishonor headlining tour, so if that tour is coming to you, you should probably go to it because it's going to be awesome. Here's some new friends of mine. Why don't you introduce yourselves, what you do in the band, and what awesome band you play?
I'm Bryce, and I sing for Seeker.
I'm Chris, and I play bass, and I touch a microphone with my lips sometimes, sexually, for Seeker.
So first question for you guys, you signed with Victory Records last year, and you released an album on Love this September, October, I forget. I know it's one of my favorite records of the year. I really liked how heavy it was, and how different it was from everyone else on the roster. What are some of your fans' responses to the album as you toured so far?
It's been really good. Like, kids are finally starting to get it. This tour, we've seen a lot of people coming out, like really digging it and knowing it.
Singing along, which was cool.
Yeah, understanding the vibe and kind of what we're trying to do. Like, we toured for so long before we released the record with really nothing out that we got super used to like blank stares, people hating us, and fucking not being down. And now that the album's out and stuff, it's really fun.
It's
Like,
a nice change of pace.
Yeah. And to see it like meaning something. It's actually like good. So it's been nice. It's been good, and it's getting better and better. So.
And Victory Records, the label's been around for celebrating its 25-year anniversary.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. And you look at all the records they put out, Holy Christ, Integrity, all the Essential, the hardcore, metalcore.
Forgot Buds.
Forgot
Buds. And Hatebreed.
I mean, Hatebreed especially. You look at Hatebreed, and they jumped to a major label after Satisfaction, Death, and Desire. But that's still their most popular record. That's the one that almost every older fan thinks for them to play. But you look at a label like Victory, and you see they've been around for a while. Why do you think the label's been around for so long?
It's because they fucking bust their asses in a way that no other label does it. They started, late 80s, early 90s, and they had what worked. But then they were one of the first labels to kind of get ahead of the game and adapt what worked to changing trends or whatever. And so, I mean, they're the only label I've heard of that still has a fucking street team. They're the only label I've heard of that still sends out. We do tours with bands that are way bigger than us, and we're the only band that still has posters sent out, still has mailers sent out. They still do samplers all the time. They still have people that do every fest ever and promote your band at like a grassroots level. Like, Tony and the people at Victory still really understand the value of like face-to-face interaction and not just having a big Twitter and a big Facebook. And so, I mean, that having that old school mentality mixed with obviously like the pretty like substantial ability to like market your band and advertise your band and get your band on like social networks and YouTube and shit like that. Like, it's huge. Nobody else has that, and that's why we were so stoked on Victory. Like, we never thought we'd sign to it. We thought we were gonna end up on a label, just the smaller label. Like, bands like us don't sign to labels like that normally. And so like when we would talk about labels we wanted, they never even came up, and then they hit us up and just ended up being perfect. And they ended up being totally down for us to do exactly what we want to do. We sent them a couple demos like a week ago, and they're faster and heavier than our last record. And they're down. They told us they want us to push it as extreme as we want to go, do what we want to do. And so like that's the other thing too, is they have a really good balance of trying to help you. It's a really good balance of business, but then also at the same time really trying to help you create the art you want to make exactly how you want to make it. And they're the only label that I've ever. I mean, I've tour managed bands. I've been touring for like 7 years. They're the only label I've ever heard of that you can call up anybody. You can text and get an immediate response any time of day. It's like instant messaging when you're emailing them. Like, they're just not their shit. Victory's the shit, dude. Like, they get a lot of hate, but they're so unbelievably good to us. It's out of control. So,
one of the things I've always noticed about your band is, championing DIY ethic, and that's something I think, in the changing times, MySpace is not good, Facebook, Twitter, social media is pretty much never going to go away. Why was doing almost everything DIY almost never? Why was was that the right thing for you guys to do instead of maybe hiring outside services? It was just the only option.
Nobody wanted. I mean, a band like us, nobody wanted to work with us. We're not a sure thing. Like, and we still don't have a team. We have Victory that helps us promote, and we have a booking agent. That's it. I mean, I still manage the band. You know, we still pre-pro out all our own shit. Every decision is still through us. You know, we still have approval on everything we do. Like, I mean, it's still us. Like, it's for a band like us, it makes the most sense. If you're gonna try to create art and try to make something that's true to yourself, why hire 5 middlemen that are going to get in the way of it and put their fingers in it and put their 2 cents in it? You know, it doesn't make sense. And like, so like what was a necessity in the beginning, you know, where just nobody wanted to fucking deal with us because we were too extreme or too ridiculous or too unmarketable, has now turned into a huge positive. You know, I mean, it's being in control of everything from like the shirts we print on and like the designs we do to the tours we accept, you know, to, you know, everything. We have total control over the deal we sign. You know, it's like, for a band like us, as extreme as we are, you need that kind of control. Otherwise, it's not worth it. You know, like, and that's how we stay afloat. You know, like being in control of everything. I mean, we don't make that much fucking money. So like being in control of everything we do is why we're here. You know, it's how we tour 10 months a year. You know, it's how we figure this out. And so it's just what it is. It was a necessity that ended up being the best thing we ever did. We're not really changing anytime soon. I mean, we've reached out to management companies, you know, but it's kind of our mentality is if you're not going to do it quicker and faster than us, or yeah, exactly. Or if you're not going to be more stoked on us than we are on us, then why pay you? You know, and so that's where we're at. So we're not planning on changing anytime soon. I think more bands should do that. You know, not from like more bands should learn from us, but more bands should just take charge of their fucking work. You know, we've toured with a shit ton of really good bands. They get fucked over constantly. Or we've toured pretty recently with some bands that are very independent, but have recently picked up huge management, and it changes things. You know, it changes everything. All of a sudden, it's like you have a second record label that you're going back to. So I think more bands should take charge of their business.
What's one piece of advice that you give a local band or a band that's trying to rise up that career? What would you tell them about play what you love, do what you want to do? Don't try to do what everyone in your scene is trying to tell you to do. Like, just because all these bands are getting big in the local scene, you don't gotta copy what they're doing. You know, do your own thing, man. Do what you love doing. That's.
Do you want to start being sworn in? Let's do it. Don't be fucking sworn in.
Don't be sworn in.
That's what you don't do. Don't wear makeup on stage. Don't let your management build your band up. Don't fucking sell your hoodies on eBay for $10,000.
Did anybody else see that?
Did you see that?
I did.
They fucking sell. Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Don't be a fucking. Can I say cunt? I'm gonna say cunt.
You can say whatever you
Don't be a fucking crybaby cunt on stage and cry because your mom won't give you, you know, your allowance money. Like, don't do that, and then don't fucking front like you're the toughest kid ever. You're fucking 18 years old. You're fucking 18 years old. You're not the toughest kid ever. What bad has happened to you ever? Fucking don't be sworn in.
And love your music.
Yeah, love your music. fuck sworn in.
Oh, God. Seriously.
And
They're bad.
be good at what you do. So, and then fuck it. Just do exactly what you want to do all the time. That's the advice that I would say.
Unless you want to be sworn in.
Yeah.
Please.
Or fit for a king. Fuck that fake Christian band. Like, fucking. So yeah. So we're talking shit.
Retract now.
Pretty vicious. No, I'm not going to retract. Those statements are there.
Oh yeah. But
I'm not sorry.
No,
But,
no. Don't be sorry for how
sorry.
you feel. Retractment is
honest.
Or retracting the clause. So those two statements boil down to be exactly what you want to be. Don't let anybody tell you what kind of music to write, or how to dress on stage, or how to move on stage. Don't choreograph your fucking stage moves. You know, fucking don't let somebody tell you what kind of merch to run. Don't let somebody tell you what kind of Facebook to run. Don't let somebody tell you what tours to take. Do what feels right always. You know, write the music you want to write always. Otherwise it's not worth it, because even the big bands, none of us are making that much fucking money. Like, nobody's making that much money that it's worth it to do that. If you want to do that, move in the pop, move in the country. If you're going to be in the scene, if you're going to pretend to be in the music underground, don't let somebody control you or micromanage you. That's That's out of control. That's stupid. Don't try to be something there. So what's the point? Why go and be a touring cover band for 10 months a year? You know, why go be a fucking Slipknot cover band for 10 months a year, a Savalva cover band for 10 months a year? Write what you want to write. You know? And that would be the biggest advice. And if you tour and you get big on doing what you want to do, that's awesome. And if you don't, that's fine, because at least what you did made you feel good. It made you feel like you expressed something you needed to be expressed. And so really our whole beef is with bands that don't do that. They don't take us on tour anyway, and they're like 25 times the size of our band, so, you know, what are we gonna do?
So that actually brings me to my next question. Totally unlike the last one I asked. But, we're in 2014, and it's kind of weird that 20 years ago, it's the 90s. The 90s were the biggest decade of music, video games, movies, everything. If both of you had to pick some of your favorite records, what would it? Any genre, anything.
Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. Slayer, South of Heaven. Shit came out in 91. Anything by Third Eye Blind. Pearl Jam Verse. Soundgarden, Super Unknown. Alice in Chains, Dirt. And Houdini by the Melvins. Yeah.
NSYNC, all of the NSYNC records.
I really like 98 Degrees.
Yeah, those are my two biggest influences.
One of my first concerts ever was Britney Spears, LFO, and 98 Degrees.
You're not even trolling us here, are you?
I'm not even trolling.
That's even true.
I have a Kesha tattoo.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a Kesha. Yeah. Fuck it. What else was awesome in the 90s? We listened to all sorts of cool shit today. Corn on Blondes was awesome. Fucking Semisonic had a really good record that year in 98. Fucking, what else was good? What else was awesome? Earth Crisis came out then. That's cool. Integrity has some good shit. Blood for Blood has some awesome shit. Zayo rules super hard. Probably the best album from the 90s though is Through Silver and Blood by Neurosis.
Ooh, that is a damn good record. Yeah,
That's a really good
I was actually just about to nudge you with my elbow and be like, Neurosis. There you go.
That's the best. Sleep.
Yeah.
Fucking
There was
Sleep came out in 93.
Yep.
That was some good shit.
Jesus, yes.
Discordant Saxes had some good shit. It was really good. It was like Godspeed You Black and Bird. Released an album called F Sharp A Sharp Infinity. That's really amazing. There's too much bullshit. Fucking Converge had great shit out. Coalesce. I don't know if you keep standing here and not saying anything, I'll keep saying stuff. So just talk about it.
Yeah, it's funny because our camera person, Trevor, who's awesome by the way, is like getting happier and happier with every band you list. I feel like he's gonna explode because that was just that was a decade where all of the metallic hardcore bands and hardcore and metal and post metal and all the really good sub-metal genres were really coming into fruition.
Cave-In?
Cave-In. Well, that's a band, dude. I'll tell you what. So next question for you. You guys tour constantly. How do you get burned out? How do you stay fresh?
I burn out. I smoke a lot of pot. That's what I do.
I drink all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I have this new game, Shogun Total War, on my cell phone. It's been really cool lately. That's it, just sleep a lot.
Yeah, just
Yeah. But I think the second band's on, so I think we have to go for it.
Alright,
So I'm trying to adjourn this.
it's okay. Last question for you guys. You have anything you'd like to say to your friends, family, or such or that?
Chris, you get to take this one.
party. Listen to good music. Do what you love.
We're gonna start a Kickstarter.
For our drummer to get
For-
the Meatloaf 2 album cover on his back.
So our drummer
Please
can get
donate.
Bad Out of Hell 2 by Meatloaf tattooed across his entire back. The $250 incentive for this Kickstarter is the other four of us will get whatever your last name is tattooed across our stomach. And this is happening because that's the appropriate way to use crowdfunding.
Yes.
Alright, well, thanks for watching Vicinity, and be sure to check out Seeker on Victory Records. If they're touring New York City, you should probably go see them, because they're really metal, and all these other subgenres of music that I'm not going to get into because they're taking forever. Anyway, Bradley Dillon here from Newfood.com. Later.